This episode is brought to you by the fabulous members of the You Run Podcast Network, all available at yourunpodcast.com.
Now, if you were a duchess, where would you hide your jewelry?
You want to die tonight?
The dad jokes you tell sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. The passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Marc's overblown roundups. You run podcasts or a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. But you want podcasts.
That's a good way to kick off a Friday evening.
I think it's a great way to kick off a Friday evening. Hello, welcome to the You Run Podcast Horror Movie Review, the show where you pick the horror movies that we talk about. My name is Scott.
My name is Marc.
And we are the pioneers of interactive podcasting, bringing you something like no other like no one else. You pick the movies, you get involved in interactive features, you can leave us voicemails, you can send us emails, you can do whatever you want. We kind of just let it all slide. Every Monday we release a brand new episode, goes out on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. And we pride ourselves on our honesty, regardless of how sometimes that bucks the trend. Every week we kick off the episode with a brief synopsis, followed by a deeper dive into what we liked, what we didn't like. We talk about specific scenes and moments that we think are worth discussing. Later on in the show, we dive into facts, interactive features, which this week we've got a cool interactive feature, but we've also got the return of a game that you and me are fucking dreadful at. Guess who?
I knew what game it was going to be as soon as you said we were dreadful at it.
Honestly, like this week, we need to at least get one each. Like,
yes.
Because so far we've done it. I think I've got 1 out of like 12. I think you've got like 1, maybe 2 out of 12.
No matter what you do, my first guess is going to be, am I Michael Myers?
Yeah, but it's never that.
It was the one time I got it right.
It was. Right, it was that one time. Let's get into this. So, when an old distant relative and evil bitch dies in her castle and leaves everything to her relatives to inherit, I'm going to start again. I don't know what's wrong. It's because we've started later. And I've drunk more and I feel all disorientated and I can't get my words out. So I'm going to take a deep breath.
Oh, you pervert.
Now I'm going to try again. When an old distant relative and evil bitch dies in her castle, her last surviving relatives inherit the lot. A dad who diddles anything that moves, a mum that clearly has not forgiven him for killing their son, and a daughter who simply didn't see that shit coming. Let's take a trip to the depraved, fucking weird, and perverted world of Full Moon Productions as we kick off straight to VHS month and straight to streaming month with one I'm not excited for. It is Castle Freak.
He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up, trying to rape them. So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they raping everybody out here.
I can't tell you how much of a deep sigh I took when this got picked. I put it on and it come up Full Moon Pictures and I had Ginger Dead Man flashbacks and went, no, not this, no.
Oh, you see, man, that's the difference between me and you. That is something that excites me when I see that. Apart from the Puppet Master movies, they traumatize me with boredom every time I think of them. Yet weirdly, I'm on a binge to try and collect them all on VHS. However, generally, I usually like the introduction of the Full Moon title because I know it's going to be just daft, naffy shit. And oddly enough, this movie isn't that. Out of all the Full Moon movies, this is the one that is the most appreciated and most liked by horror fans, and one that's talked about in the similar sort of vein of general horror movies. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily usually come with the full moon banner when people talk about Castle Freak. Whereas, like when you say like Ginger Dead Man or that bad CGI Gator movie that I watched, which by the way you still need to check out, it's fucking awesome. And people see movies like that, it's like, oh, full moon, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But this one kind of doesn't stick the reputation that full moon brings with it for some reason.
No, and I think like if you look at Full Moon Pictures, everything they made in the sort of mid to late 90s, they tried to keep a very serious tone to it. And it wasn't until they went bust and they become like Full Moon Films or whatever it was, the time they went bust at the end of the
Productions
90s.
or entertainment or
Yeah.
whatever they changed it to.
And that's when they took that shift into let's do Ginger Dead Man. Oh, that was a success. Let's do Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong versus Killer Shark from Planet Mars. Like, and they went, they really just bought into that. But yeah, this is a serious movie. And I'll be honest, I was a little bit surprised. I haven't seen this since, oh God, I probably watched this when I was like 14, 15 because it had boobs in it. And it was like a group of lads, oh, you've seen Castle Freak? Oh, you need to see it. Like there's loads of tits in it. Like that's how it was sold to me.
Which, surprisingly enough, Barbara Crampton's in this and no boobs.
No. Which,
and
yeah,
she's known, not quite on the same level as Linnea Quigley, but she's still known for showing boobage. But no boobage from Barbara in this one.
No, she built her reputation on Rack, and in this movie worked without them. Also, I want to address something before we get into this. This year, we very much slipped back into the formulaic run through of episodes.
Yes.
After last week, where we didn't do that, Mark kind of brought up, well, I just kind of let you do it. It's my fault completely because I'm an OCD freak who can't handle doing things just as they come. But
I've purposefully made sure you had no notes for tonight and said, just go with it, man. It'll be what it'll be. I kind of regret that decision before I knew we were doing Castle Freak, because I'll be honest with you, this is one movie that I feel does need a little bit of guidance. However, we'll be all right, man. We'll wing it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll be okay. Just so everyone knows, what I have is I've got like the bit I just said, some of that written down just to give me information. And then I've got...
Which even then you couldn't do that.
No, and then I've got nothing. And the next thing that exists on my sort of run through of the show is recommended account. And everyone knows that that's about 50 minutes into the show. And I feel naked and afraid, but I'm going to go with it. And I'm going to kick this off with, why does the evil lady in the castle have a man in the dungeon that she whips?
I mean, did you watch the movie? You understand the plot. You know who that is, don't you?
No, I didn't get who that was at all. It's just
that's her
random...
son.
That's her son. Why is she beating
him?
Right.
So that lady is
a bitch.
I think, right, okay, in terms of family tree wise, I'm not 100% sure. Someone call in and let me know. But that lady, because I always thought it was Barbara Crampton's heir. I thought she was the heir to the castle, but it's not. It's him.
It's the dude.
Yeah, Jeffrey Combs. He's the heir to the castle. And I think his dad was an American man. He married her. No, it can't be. That must be his grandma, his great grandma, and his granddad or his granddad married that woman, and then he moved to America, and then the kid.
So I got all of that. Yeah, I got that side of the family tree. I understood how he was there and how the family were there, but like when the movie, I didn't understand who that guy was, and that
guy is her kid. So later on, when they go down to the tomb thing, and he thinks he's seeing his son on that plaque, that's the Castle Freak. That's the Castle Freak, and the woman told everybody that he died when the American who was related to Jeffrey Combs left her. She was like, "Oh, my son's died." He hadn't. She just kept him in the castle and beat him and tortured him and whipped him because he reminded her of him so much. Then she died, didn't she? And you saw her withered at the beginning in the bed and the cat licking an empty plate. But she'd left him chained up in the basement. So I don't know what he's been living on for the past 30 years before Jeffrey Combs turns up. Or however long it was before she was found. But yeah, he's just been there chained up.
Yeah, I think it was a couple of months from what I could gather. Like, she died, then the strange Italian porno star introduces the family.
Luigi
It's always
Macaroni.
very hello, it's a me, it's a Mario. But yeah, you meet the family, and you've got the mum and the dad, and they're not getting on. You get that straight away, and then
Yeah.
you've got the
You
daughter.
fucking blind, you can't see me.
So what was your initial take on when they first introduced it and she was asking for like a separate room for him? Was you like, oh, he's an adulterer, he's been having an affair?
No, I was going down the route of he's in the doghouse for something. At some point, every man in a relationship has either had the spare room, the sofa, a hotel, whatever. There's always been a point where that has been a thing. You've done something wrong. You've been basically told, get the fuck away from me, or this is not going to work. And as guys, we just go, yeah, okay, fine. I'll sleep on the sofa. It's okay.
I've done stints more than I care to admit to, but you know what my problem is? It's not because I've been kicked out. I just don't like conflict. I don't like arguments. So if things erupt, I'm quite happy to just leave. I'm like, I ain't got time for this shit. I'm off. I'll sulk and I'll just go. I'm like, yeah, I'm off. I'll see you later. And I'll just go sleep in my van or get a hotel or something.
I'll do the petulant thing, like, well, you'll have a little argument. She's like, I'm going to bed now. Are you coming? Okay, no. And then I'll sit downstairs and I'll stew in my own anger for a while. Then I'll watch a bit of TV. Then I'll be like, Joe, what? I'm not going to go upstairs. I'm going to sleep on the sofa. And then, like, Lisa will come down the morning. Why are you on the sofa? And you sort of, in the light of day, the following morning when everyone's calmed down, you're like, I don't know, but my neck hurts and my back hurts, and now I need to go to work. It's always self-inflicted. I've never been kicked out or sent to the sofa because I'd be like, absolutely fucking not. Like, you don't want to sleep on the sofa.
I've never been kicked out, to be honest with you. And I think even if I had, I think I'd probably refuse to leave out of principle. Like, no, my house. I'm not going. You go. You want me to be away from you that much? You go. I think I'd be. That's the level of petty I'm at in my life. Do you know what I mean? I would refuse outright.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit petty. Fucking everyone listens to this show. I'm incredibly petty. Like, the level of pettiness that lives in me on this show follows me through into my personal life and my work life. Like, if someone wrongs me, like through emails and shit at work, I am the guy that sends, as per my previous email.
Oh, you one of them dudes.
I am that guy, and because I am very OCD and sort of anal about things, I keep very good records. So someone will be like, "Oh, you didn't say that," and then I'll produce an email from like 8 years ago, like, actually, on this email you said this, 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 and this. I've highlighted it in the attached for you to remind yourself of what you said. I'm that guy. So yeah,
you see, that's one thing I'm not very good at. When me and my wife argue, and we'll say things to each other in the moment, like as most couples do, I'm sure. And then I'll bring that up again, and I'll be like, "Well, you said this," and she'll be like, "Well, what did I say?" And I'm like, "Well, I can't remember exactly what you said." She's like, "Well, no, if it's that important to you, then what did I say? Tell me what I said. Tell me what I said." And I'm like, "Fuck! I wish I'd just like recorded this argument or this debate because I have no idea." I know what you said, and I know the intent in which you said it. I just cannot remember what to relay it in terms of a conversation. I'm terrible at that. Maybe you should just come move in with me for that reason. You can just sit there in the corner of the room with a pen and paper, just be ready for when you're needed.
just sit there taking notes.
Please.
She called him a bald wanker! Exclamation mark. Saved.
That is what I need.
No, I didn't think it was because he had an affair. Like, I knew he'd done something that was deemed wrong, and I don't want to come across sexist here, but there are many things that guys do that women go, "Oh, you've really annoyed me," and it's the most petty shit ever, which is why I'm really petty because of that.
Well, you see, that's the thing. My immediate thought was he'd had an affair or something, or do you know what I mean? That was the kind of thing. He'd been deceitful in some sort of way. But yeah, man, this movie takes a complete left field, and it turns out he was drink driving and he had a drink problem, killed his son in the accident, and completely blinded his daughter. And the practical effects of the crash, which I didn't expect to see, I expected it to be like a throwaway conversation between the two of
Yeah.
them. No. They show us the full scene unfold and go back in time. And the aftermath of it is tragic as shit. And you just see the daughter with all the glass in her eyes looking like something from Event Horizon, Samuel Neal in the end of that movie. And it looked awesome, man. I was like, shit, I didn't expect, especially with it being a full moon movie as well, because I didn't watch this when it came out. I didn't grow up with this movie. I think I watched it for the first time maybe last year or the year before. And I was really shocked by this scene. I was like, fuck, that's incredibly graphic. And it's not only is it incredibly graphic, but it's incredibly well done, which took me by surprise. I was like, fuck, the practical effects makeup in this movie are genuinely good.
Yeah, and all of the practical effects across the board kind of caught me a little bit off guard, like the crash scene, the freak himself, like all of that. I was a bit like, shit.
The
And, like,
nipple,
even like,
which we'll get to, because that's a conversation that deserves in itself.
You got perfect.
But yeah, like the practical effects and the prosthetics across the board are really, really good here, really solid. And they showcase that pretty early on with this flashback scene in the car accident. I was like, "Oh, that's really cool."
yeah, I really like that. One thing that made me laugh is when they get to the castle and they kind of had a walk around. The guy's going, "Well, there's no money. Like, there's no money," and you can see the dad's like, "Oh, no money." He stood in a 12-bedroom castle in
Yeah,
the central Italy. It's worth millions, and like all the art on the walls a bit gruesome, and but like just the artwork and the castle alone, like this guy's set for life, and he's behaving like he's been dealt the worst hand ever. I've had to come to Italy to this shitty castle, and now I need
I
to
know.
catalog everything so you could. I would be like I said, because Lisa watched this with me. This is not a film to watch with your other half
No,
if she's not really
no.
keen on like sexual stuff in movies. Like, Lisa, what's this? She's like, oh. I was like, yeah, okay, well, we're here now. But Lisa,
I didn't expect it, but we're here, so we're gonna have to just dig deep and enjoy it for what it is.
yeah, and even Lisa's like, why is he complaining? Like, I'd be on a treasure hunt. Like, as soon as I got there, I'd be like, every single room, every single corridor, which is what pissed me off, that they didn't find the freak. Because I would have explored that castle from top to fucking bottom as soon as I got there. Every room, every corridor, every secret hatch, I'd have checked everything.
They do, but I think they do a good way of explaining that off slightly, because when they later on have the incident and the police arrive because they think they've seen somebody in a castle and the mirror shattered and stuff, and he's like, there's like 150 rooms here, like we do not have the manpower to search this. So it would explain to me that them as a family, who are certainly not getting on well enough to be able to come up with some tactical plan to get from point A to point B throughout the castle, wouldn't have the time to search it themselves anyway. So I
You say that,
didn't
but
dig into it that much too.
no, I didn't either. But if it was you and me and we turned up at that castle, we'd start in a point and we'd search everywhere.
Well, I'd probably try and find the wine cellar first and then
Yeah,
go from
so
there, which he does, to be fair.
to be fair, he is the scummiest man in the world. Like, when he goes for his, I'm just going to go check the local bar. And like, he
Yeah.
gets to the local bar and he's like, hello.
Sit down, hooker.
That's one thing that pissed me off about the ending of this movie as well. I'm not going to jump too far to that, but they try and have like this redemption arc for him, like he saved everybody and he died doing so, and it's like nothing about this fella throughout this entire movie makes me feel empathy for him in this moment. Like, if I was his wife, I would have pushed him off anyway.
The bit with the hooker really got me. So, like, I get it. People go out, they cheat, they get hookers. Like, if that's your thing, fine. Like, if
No,
that's
they
what you
don't,
do.
though. That's the thing. That shouldn't be normalized. That's not
No,
a
it
normal thing for a married man to do to his wife.
It's not.
I get it. People do it. No, they don't.
Yeah, no, it's not a normal thing, but people do it. But what people don't do is take the hooker back to the castle where their wife is asleep upstairs and fuck her in the basement. That's not normal.
But even just like the magnitude of that incident in itself, just his whole sleazy demeanor, like his wife's clearly very upset that his actions and his drinking had caused his son to die in a car crash and blind his daughter and completely ruin any chance of hope she had for the future. In a way, that's not fair. Blind people can do shit. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is she's so crushed and so demoralized by the incident that later on she's having a conversation talking about, well, I don't need those things. I don't need a pretty dress. I don't need to go to the prom and all this. And it was a fucking heartbreaking speech that she gives to her mum later on. But like the instant sleaze of this man where he's like trying to push himself on his wife when she's clearly broken inside from the loss of her son. And he's like, oh, come on, baby. I miss you. It's been so long. I'm like, oh, you fucking creepy, sleazy little bastard. I hate you.
He's awful. And like I did laugh. Like he's pulled this girl, and I don't think he knew she was a hooker, because after they do the act, she stands there and just puts her hand out, and he's like, oh yeah, sorry, of course. And goes in his wallet, and like he gives her like a wad of cash, and she tries to give him some back, and he's like, no, it's fine, keep the change.
I didn't know whether he'd underpaid her and he didn't understand the value of the euro, and he was like, and she was like, that's not enough, and he's like, no, just take it, like he thought he was overpaying her, and she was like, nah, man, I need more than this.
No, he'd overpaid her. She started picking notes out, trying to give him back, and he's like, no, my shame. I'm paying for my shame. But yeah.
So this is the one scene that I wanted to bring into question, because he's muff diving away on this prostitute, and you see the castle freak behind watching, almost as if he's like masturbating. I couldn't tell from the glare on my screen from this watch, and I couldn't remember, from the first time I watched this movie. Has he got no knob? Has he just got? Has he been castrated? Yeah, and it's just testicles down there.
Yeah, it's testicles and like a nub. He's got like a nub.
Right, a nub. Right, okay.
He's either got like a Chow micro penis from The Hangover, or it's been chopped off.
I assumed it had been chopped off. That was I thought it was like a eunuch or whatever they're called. I thought that was the direction I was going in, but I was thinking, why would you just leave his knackers?
Yeah, and like this bit that comes next, so after he leaves and he leaves the hooker downstairs, I'm not going to lie, I found this really, really, really uncomfortable. This was just...
This is absolutely hideous. So distasteful.
What's that?
Where the freak attacks her. Like, I found this so awful. I was there going, oh, no. And then, like, he's biting her nipple, and he bites it to the point where he bites her nipple off. I'm like, no, just stop doing this. This scene in particular, and scenes later when he chases the daughter down, are fucking awful. Like, they are really genuinely scary.
Rapey scenes.
It's been so long since you've said rapey on the show.
Yeah, but no, it is harrowing. And I think the thing is as well, what makes that scene in particular so much worse is the scene after, when the maid comes in and discovers her body. And I thought she was dead, but she's white over, she's just lifeless. And the maid comes in and she discovers her, and you realize she's still alive. And she's just so shocked and traumatized by this incident. She's got bite marks all over her where she's been chewing bits of flesh, and it's fucking awful. And you see her look up and she's just completely bewildered by the situation and does nothing else but just screams out in sheer terror. It's like that scene at the end of Texas Chainsaw Massacre where Sally's just like manically screaming and laughing at the same time. It's just not as vocal and as loud as that, but it's that kind of breakdown in mentality that you see on a victim in movies like this. And I was just like, fuck, man, like, am I watching a full moon movie here? Is this a full moon movie? Because this just feels so out of place for what I was expecting this to be.
Yeah, it's really out of place, and it's honestly, this film's kind of disgusting, and I think that leans into why it's so adored, because there are some people in the horror community that watch this and they're like,
the return of the Y-boner with a vengeance.
I mean, if you're watching it for those purposes and there's something seriously wrong with you. You should probably watch the remake if that's your vibe, because that is straight up Pornhub level material, the remake.
To be fair, this isn't far off of it. Like the amount of nudity in this, I was like, it's a bit. We've said this loads of times on the show. No issue with nudity in film if it's required. In this, there are so many scenes. I'm like, you just don't need it. Like they're a nice pair of breasts, but take them away. This scene is still as awful without the boobs out.
Yeah. And I mean, like you said, nudity is welcomed. Like the scene with Jeffrey Combs where he's sleeping with the hook, I didn't distastefully like it. I thought it was appropriate to the movie. It was showcasing his sleaziness, and she was a prostitute. Why would she not be naked? Why would it be covered over? But again, then the scene later on where she's being viciously attacked, it serves purpose for the story, but it wasn't placed in there to project the story further. It was placed in there just to show more nudity and more vulgarness to the scene, and that for me is where that line is crossed in terms of nudity in horror movies. And again, is that a personal thing because it makes me feel uncomfortable? Like, should I be blasting it because I'm uncomfortable in a situation, not because it's purposeful? Because I suppose it is purposeful because it's showcasing the lust of the castle freak. He's been watching Jeffrey Combs do it. He's learning. He wants to then do it himself. So I guess in a way it is purposeful to the story. So it is relevant to the movie. But just because I'm uncomfortable with it, does that make it wrong? I'm battling with myself here. I'm arguing with myself at this moment.
But the castle freak learned from him, but he didn't pay enough attention because he didn't pony up to pay for that. Like, he missed the bit at the beginning where Jeffrey Combs dropped a fucking great wad of cash to get that privilege. Like, honestly, this film's just bizarre. And like from here on in, so you get this kind of setup, then you get this prostitution scene of the castle freak is loose. After this, it becomes almost Scooby-Doo-ish. There's moments where they hear a bang.
It gets to that at the end.
Yeah, they go and investigate a bang, and you see the castle freak go behind him, and all that's missing is that like diddle noise of his feet as he goes past. And there were so many times I was like, he's there. How did you not see? He knocked over a fucking like a table full of shit right behind you, and you're looking at a mirror going, "Where? I wonder where he could be." And there was bits like that that just really annoyed me. One thing I found incredible about this that shocked me more than anything is the girl who plays the blind girl. Her performance is really good. And it really...
I always thought this young girl was Jennifer. Oh, my mind's gone blank on what her name is. Who was no? I think
I should have had her for my Guess Who, because you don't even know who she is. Fucking when you're looking at a picture of her.
She's on one of those like really cool 80s movies where she's riding the horse that you put the pennies in that you'd find at like Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, it's not though.
No, it's not, but they look very similar. It looks like a young Jennifer Connelly. Like if you look at the movie poster for Castle Freak, it's the art illustration of it. I always assumed it was Jennifer Connelly who was in this movie. It's not. But even then, if somebody had told me, like, oh yeah, that's the teenage Jennifer Connelly, given the magic of plastic surgeons in Hollywood, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that this was her before her injection into Hollywood. But again, I just want to revert back to the Scooby-Doo elements of this movie. I know what you're saying in reference towards sort of like the last act. That gets very Scooby-Doo-esque with the chasing around and stuff like that. But I do really like this middle section where Jeffrey Combs comes under suspicion for the murder of the hooker, and the police are investigating it, and his wife's questioning him and believing him. And I like this segment, and it came very left field for me. I didn't think it would go to this sort of depths of creativity. I thought it would be a point A to point B stupid little slasher movie, but then they injected these elements of a crossover and a question mark as to, because they could have quite easily got to the end of this movie and just done a full turncoat and be like, yeah, it was just Jeffrey Combs losing his mind. you know, and done a flashback sequence of him killing the hooker and him killing his wife and him killing his daughter or something like that. And I would have digested it. And I thought, oh, that was really clever. I get that. He's dealing with the trauma of the loss of his son. It would have probably made the movie entirely better, to be honest with you.
100% better. I do like this though. I like especially with the police, like when they turn up and he's there and the hooker's there, like the hooker's there is still broken, and he's looks at the police, looks at his wife, and he's like, however I cut this, like how whatever I say next, I'm fucked one way or the other. Either I say I know nothing about her, and then the police take me in, or I say it's a hooker I brought home. I had sex with her, but when I left her, she was fine. And then my wife leaves me. I am in a lose-lose. So he just says nothing and just gets like marched off by the police. It's that I thought was really clever. This sort of,
but it just showcases how fucked he is as well, because of how tight knit this little Italian community is. Because the lawyer who's trying to defend him from the police, his sister is the housemaid of the castle who got murdered by the castle freak. So when he discovers a dead body, even though he's Jeffrey Combs' lawyer, he's immediately just jumps on him. He's like, "You bastard," and starts attacking him as if to say, "I know you did this."
Yeah.
Just little details like that throughout. I was just really shocked and surprised by from this movie. I was like, "Ah, fuck, that's." I understand now why people like this as much as they do.
Yeah, that middle section is actually very clever. I think the standout bit of this movie is the practical work on the castle freak, because the castle freak,
which we get in all its glory at the end. Because I do love the final act of this movie in the rain, the whole chase down sequence.
The thing is, I even love like you get the glimpses of it. So you get like a bit of the face hid behind some barrels, and you're almost trying to peer around to see the rest of it, and then you get like a shot of the hand, and then you get a full frontal, and you're like, oh, okay, we're doing everything, but every single piece of that design of that freak is done to make you feel uncomfortable. It's all
like, what did you think to the scene where he like bites his own thumb off to take the handcuffs off to escape in the first place?
That looked great. Rough. Like, I think I'd be looking for another way before biting my thumb off. Also, when he ate the cat.
I kind of cheered a little bit at that point. I thought the cat deserved it, to be honest with you. Ginger little
the cat. Not only that, the cat was outside his room going meow meow. I've had food. Meow meow. You haven't. And he's like, get it. And then he got his change free. He's like, come here, fucker, you're my dinner. The practical effects on the cat, the body of the cat, also look great.
But I think the thing that it highlights it more, like you mentioned briefly a minute ago, is how it's slowly revealed. You know, you don't initially get this is a castle freak. I know you see him in a heap on the floor where it kind of just looks like a corpse, to be honest with you. But again, if you've been there for 3 months with no food and no water, that's the kind of decomposition you would expect. But then slowly, and then he even knows his own horrified look that he gets, like the sheet and the bag on his face, which then he slowly starts to lose throughout the film. And by doing so, you get more and more glimpses into the overall image of him. And I was like, building up to it, and then as it was getting to the end, I was like, oh no, they're going to do like a full reveal and it's just going to look shit and it's going to compromise everything that's come before it. And it doesn't. It gets to the end and we get the full body thing of this creature, face and everything, and I thought it looked fantastic. I thought it looked really, really clever, and you could tell the effort and the work had gone into it. And it wasn't even a case of, oh, a lot of money's gone into this, because it didn't come across like that. It didn't look like it had been a high-end practical effect work. It just looked like it was really passionately created.
Yeah, it did. And also, I understand why the freak was upset that he's got all these people, because effectively that is his castle. Technically, they were told at the beginning that they are the last surviving heirs of this bitch, whoever she was, who owned the castle, but they're not. He is. He's the rightful heir to the castle, all the gumph within it. And like, I don't know if that plays into his motivation, because I don't know if his character is clever enough, but there's a part of me that's going, yeah, kill the dad, kill him. Like, he's taking your inheritance and he's a bad person. I wanted the dad to die horrifically, not in the heroic way he tried to. I wanted him to get it.
But for me, it wasn't heroic. It was just, I have no salvation now, regardless of whether I save these or not. I'm still not going to be forgiven for my sins, and he shouldn't have been either. But what was I going to say? Well, yeah, that was it. What I don't get how he ended up there. He was arrested for murder. How the fuck did he get from the prison to back to the castle? I missed this bit.
I think they bailed him. I think he was bailed.
You don't get bailed on murder.
You can do if you're not a flight risk. You'd be bailed. If they took his passport, he'd be bailed.
I don't know. I didn't buy it. I didn't remember the segment on why he got out and how he got out. I just remember him being arrested for murder. The castle freak, the mum and the daughter were told during the investigation they weren't allowed to fly home. Basically, they had to stay there because she had this whole thing about we're being kept here beyond against our will kind of thing. She was pissed off about it. So I understand their return back to the castle. But then shit started kicking off, and then all of a sudden he just appeared back at the castle. And I was like, how the fuck have you got out of jail to get back here? I don't understand this.
I think he was bailed, or he convinced the policeman to take him back. There was a reason he went back there, but yeah, I can't remember what it was. One thing in this that I find really hard to digest as a viewer is when the castle freak is going after the daughter and he gets hold of the daughter. I'm just like, I'm cringing, just going, oh, this is awful. And the mum, Barbara Crampton, like, don't have her, have me. Look at my boobs, they're bigger. And as soon as I was like, fair play, that's a way to get him off your daughter. But again, like, it's so awful that you're like, she's sacrificing herself. But like, I've seen, because of the hooker, what she's now giving herself, what she's getting herself into for. She's like,
yeah, but she had the knife behind her back, so she had a plan. She was being clever about it.
She fucked him up properly as well when he grabbed hold of her. She's like, have that in the neck.
But again, this pisses me off about movies. They do this in every horror movie. And I know it's because there's still more story to tell. You can't just end it there and then. But like, when people do this and they're just like, I've shot him in the shoulder. Quick, let's run. It's like, no, use that gun that you've got in your hand that's still got 9 bullets in it and shoot the fucker in the face. And here, she just like stabs him in the back, probably in his shoulder blade by the look of it. I'm not saying I'm an action man. I'm not saying I could take a stab in the shoulder and carry on walking around. But my point is, I'm not a castle freak mutated super strength human that I think I would probably take that knife back out of his shoulder and keep going for a good couple of minutes to make sure that my daughter was safe, especially when you're in a compromised situation like this where your daughter's vulnerable and needs protecting and you're trying to save her. You've executed this flawless plan to take him down with manipulation, and then your next breath is to just run away.
Yeah,
it's like, come on.
And not only run away, but run to the roof. Why have you gone to the roof? Why? What? Down the stairs and out the fucking door, you dickhead.
Yeah, I don't know. I always have this in my head, right? I think in a horror movie, I think I would probably choose to go up rather than down. So this is my theory. In a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, but this isn't a zombie apocalypse.
I would go up in but I know. But my thing. So we did Return of the Living Dead not so long ago. Great movie.
Yeah, that's
up in the loft.
100%,
up in the loft.
Yeah.
Best escape plan ever. Go in the loft. Perfect. Yeah. And I think that's a great escape plan as well in terms of general stuff because it's a good vantage point. So I would go up into the loft because there's only one access, which is a loft hatch to get in, which is easily, if someone was trying to get up there, you just kick them back down or you just throw shit at them so they fall down. But not only that, you just slip a couple of tiles up behind the felt and then you're up onto the ridge line and you just scream for help until someone comes. I think going out, you're easily chased down.
Well, I think in this scenario and in slashers, they're in a little town that's not used to lots of noise. I think out the front door, bang on every little hamlet door on the way down, and some angry Italian man is going to come out, and you're going to end up with the police there very quickly. I think in this scenario, out into the street is the better option.
I don't know. I mean, I think Anne Frank put this theory into perfect execution. I'll be honest with you. She showcased that this is the best move, and I'm sticking by my theory.
So your theory for staying safe is Anne Frank done it, I'm going to do it.
I'm going to name it the Anne Frank theory, to be honest with you. And I think if any terms of any horror movie now, I'm like, yeah, you should have Anne Franked it. And I think I'm going to make it stick.
Okay. Closing of this scene, closing of this movie, you get the full reveal and you get this kind of, the fight scene on the roof is really badly shot. It's a lot of close up, kind of like there's just bits of flesh moving around, and then like the castle freak is going towards the daughter and the mum, and the dad's like, no, you can't do that, and just like throws himself off the roof and takes the castle freak with him. It was anticlimactic for me. I wanted something better. The dad deserved a better death, probably at the hands of the castle freak. And as for the castle freak, he deserved a better death than just splat on the pavement outside.
Yeah, I mean, I do really like this final chase down scene on the roof. I'm a sucker for rain, and I'm a sucker for blue cinematography, blue lighting, and blue aesthetics, especially in the rain as well. I think it looks fucking awesome.
Drag Me to Hell does it best, where she's digging up the body. Love that scene.
Yes, very cool. When we did Drag Me to Hell, I spoke highly about that scene. Again, when I talk about one of my favorite movies, Halloween, I always talk about Bob's death as being my favorite because of the whole blue aesthetic of the cinematography on that scene. And I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah, Freddy in the alley.
I think Freddy in the alley. You know, it's that perfect 90s horror nighttime lighting that I love. And this movie does it really, really well. But again, yes, the castle freak's death, considering the level of gore and the level of practical effects used throughout this movie, by the time we get to the end and it's just a simple fall off the edge and we don't even see the impact at the bottom, it was underwhelming. I love, however, when the wife and the daughter come down and Jeffrey Combs is still alive and he's like, forgive me. Even though she tells him she loves him, she doesn't actually say, I forgive you. And I was like, yeah, fucking die knowing that.
Yeah, like he deserved the worst death. Like, do you know what he deserved? He deserved to throw the castle freak off and the wife stab him and push him off the roof. That's what he deserved.
Yeah.
And that would have been an awesome twist as well. Because I find him creepy, like even with his daughter. Like some of the conversations he has with his daughter and the way he is with his daughter, I'm like, there's just something not right about this. It doesn't feel like a daddy-daughter relationship. It feels like a daughter-daddy relationship, and I don't like it.
And she calls him daddy as well. Like she's like 16, 17, and she's very much, daddy, ooh, daddy. And I was like, this is weird. Like the writing of this relationship is really off.
Yeah, but my daughter's 8. She calls me dad. And if she started
calling...
me...
I'm still daddy, but my daughter's 4.
Yeah, and the only time she calls me daddy now is if she's like, daddy...
needing something.
Exactly that. Otherwise, it's dad, 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 dad. And yeah, I don't know. I think if you're a teenage, like an older teenage girl, 17, 18, and you're still calling your dad daddy all the time for everything... I don't know. There's something about that it's just weird.
Again, does that say more about us as it does the conversation itself? You know what I mean? Like, are we? This is the same thing that I was talking about earlier with the prostitute's death. Are we the problem in that situation? Like, because it is so innocent. Do you know what I mean? It is an innocent terminology to use towards a parent. Are we just so brainwashed by society that we find it disturbing, and are we part of the problem? Because I think my daughter calling me daddy is the cutest thing ever.
Yeah.
And if she called me that for the rest of her life, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But I'm just like, now it's the older she gets, I'm like, yeah, it's weird. But is that a me problem or is that a her problem?
I think it's just weird. Like, for example, if you called your parents mummy and daddy at the age you are now, like, I know not all of your parents here, same as mine, but you would get I'm sorry, what the fuck did you just call me? Did you just call me mummy? Like, the fuck, shut up. Like, I don't.
Do you know what is weird, right? Not going well off topic now. I have mates who call their parents by their name.
That's bizarre.
So they'll be like, oh, I am Dave and Beth. Like, they'll be like, oh, Beth, can you just wash my socks or something stupid like that. Obviously not now. We're all like nearly 40, so they're not like wash my socks. I'm sure they do it themselves. But like growing up, I had mates, and do you know what the weirdest thing about it was? It was always the friends who came from really wealthy families. So like their parents were really, really rich. And I'd be there, I'd be mind blown by the level of disrespect by calling them by their name instead of mum and dad.
I'm
And I'd be
pretty
like,
sure
"Oh."
if I called my mum and dad by their first name, I think it would have been milliseconds before something hit me at fast pace, be it a hand, a spoon, a foot, a shoe, whatever it was. If I went, all right, Daryl, I reckon I would have got a backhander like fucking that. It'd have been instant.
It's
Followed
weird,
by
isn't
me
it?
going,
It's weird.
it's really weird. Followed by me going, sorry, Dad. I meant Dad. I meant Dad.
But I can guarantee you now there is listeners to this show who do it. And if you are out there and you do this, and I'm not judging you for it, I would just like to understand the reasoning behind it. So I would like somebody to call in who does do this, who calls their parents by their name instead of mum and dad, and explain to us where it comes from, why you decided to make that transition, and whether it's done out of disrespect or not. I just don't get it, and it blows my mind. And this kid was doing it when we were growing up, and it weren't funny. He weren't doing it for a laugh out of the boys. You know what I mean? It was just so normalized in their household. I don't know. The parents weren't like hippie parents or anything. It's like, oh, just talk to me on the same level. We're all one in this world. It wasn't that kind of thing. You know what I mean? It was just bizarre, man. But I know there's people out there that do it.
If you do it, do call in. Mark won't judge you. I will.
Shut up, you freak!
Like, I will definitely judge you for it. I'm curious. I want to know. Have you got anything else to say about this before we rock into recommended account of the week?
Not necessarily. No, I think one thing that we did skip over was the execution of the police officers who were there to guard the mother and daughter. I thought their kills was really, really cool. I like the stealthy way that the Castle Freak took both of them out one by one. But other than that, no, not really. I haven't got much else to say that hasn't already been said on this episode.
Well, it's time for recommended account of the week. Are you ready, or would you like a sound drop?
I would love a sound drop. I think I'm ready.
Okay, here you
go. Oh, well. King in the castle, king in the castle. Have a chair, I have a chair. Oh, go do this. King in the castle.
Okay.
You ready, or do you need? I'll give you one.
No. I found it. There we go. So this week's recommended account is Polly Painting Polly's. This is a British toy collector customizing and repairing Polly Pockets. So for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you'd notice recently that I went to a car boot sale a couple of weekends ago, and I picked up some vintage complete Mighty Max sets for 50p each, which are both worth about 60-70 quid on eBay alone.
Wow.
Greatest find I've ever had in my life. Never find anything like that ever again as long as I live. I can guarantee it. It was insane. I got two complete Mighty Max sets. Oh, they're both here anyway. For a pound for the pair. For those of you who are into vintage and retro, insane complete sets. For the shells alone, these are both worth 30 quid without the bits that come with it. When you sell them as a full set, it's just astronomical amounts of money. The guy clearly didn't know what he had. That sent me on a bit of a path down Instagram, and I was looking for stuff, and I found this account. And this is Polly Painting Polly's. What she does is she takes vintage Polly Pockets, such as a Mighty Max sets that I've got there, but then she customizes them and paints them and turns them into horror-themed Polly Pockets.
She
did
cool.
one. Oh man, she did one for a Shaun of the Dead one, and she painted like the Winchester, and then she turned like the Polly Pockets into Shaun and Ed, and it was fucking awesome. She did a Scream one, which was like Stu's house and things like that. So it's just standardized Polly Pockets, but she just paints them up and adds horror-themed characters to them. It's a really, really, really cool account. I don't know whether she just does this for personal entertainment or whether you can actually buy these from her shop if she has one or something like that. But just to see the incredibleness of taking these vintage toys and and repurposing them for horror themed stuff. It's weird. It's not weird in a bad way, but it's weird to see such childhood innocence in toys being repurposed into Scream movies and Shaun of the Dead movies. There's loads of other different ones that she's done throughout on this page, and I think definitely go check her out. Her name's Anna, and her account on Instagram is Polly Painting Pollies. And as always, if you do go and check this account out, you like any of the stuff you see, you like any of our reels, drop her a comment below and just say, I'm here because the You Run podcast sent me here. Your account is fantastic. Perfect. Much appreciated.
Spiral swirly thing. Oh. Shenanigans like this are par for the course at Fans of the Dead. Whether it's reviewing a brand new horror movie every single month or taking you on a deep dive tangent into something related to the horror world, Fans of the Dead is the place to go for fun, entertainment and laughter.
He's part of that family, like, you know, not wanting to be.
Kind of his fault.
And he's kind of saying, like, stay on the road, stay safe.
The Horror Friendly Podcast is a podcast with bite. Hosted by Katie and Chantel, this is full of banter, full of jibes, full of laughs, and full of alcohol. And bad language. This show literally has everything you could possibly desire as a horror fan. For these and many other entertaining shows, head over to yourunpodcast.com. Check them out today. So make sure you go and check out Marc's recommended account of the week for one. Two, go to yourunpodcast.com. Check out all of the other members of the You Run Podcast Network. Also, with Marc's recommended account, 99% of the accounts that Marc picks are small accounts that are trying to grow. These are the accounts that need help. Like my account is really healthy. Marc's account is really healthy. But some of these accounts are really small. Some of them have hundreds, only a few thousand followers. So you going and checking it out and helping them grow and saying that we sent you there helps them grow and it helps us grow. Like it's a win-win, and you also get a fucking cool account to follow. So make sure you do that.
We've had some awesome accounts come off the back of recommended accounts of the week. Becca Lund, this girl of horror. She, not that she started off being a recommended account of the week, and I don't say her growth was down to the show, but she was only really small. And when I first started messaging her back and forth, and she became a recommended account early on, and her page is fantastic, and she's gone on to do great things. And I'm not saying that growth or that development is down to us. I'm just saying she was one of the pages very early on in her starting path that I found and had a great communication with, and thought, I'm going to put this on for recommended account of the week. But not only did that, it was more a case of bringing her into the fold with us. She started communicating with us, and I think that just maybe inspired people to keep pushing on with their account. They know that there's a community out there of like-minded people who all want to talk about the same kind of shit. And I think when you start off small with an Instagram account, this is one thing that I found before me and you started talking when I was doing reviews and stuff, was I was just doing them and I only had myself. I was just putting them out there. I got the odd comment from people here and there, but then me and you started talking, and I realized there was a community of people out there who liked the stuff that I liked, and it changed my life in a way. You know, I have this podcast now, and horror became more of a focal point of me going forward, as opposed to what it was that I was just doing as a side project that I didn't think would go anywhere. And from where I am now to where I was 5 years ago is completely different, you know, and that's due to just communicating with people within the community. And I think that's what I try to do, a recommended account of the week. Occasionally there'll be one in there that's got like 100,000 followers that I just come across, and I'm like, this is cool. If you haven't come across it yet, just go check it out. But 9 times out of 10, I do prefer to try and interject smaller accounts to everybody else to check out. So to highlight what you're saying, if you are one of those accounts, drop me a message, and I'd love to showcase your account for everybody else who listens to try and find you. And if not, I'm sure I'll stumble across you eventually and you will get shouted out.
Yeah, exactly that. Also, make sure you go to yourunpodcast.com.
All show.
All show. I'm really I don't know why I'm struggling today, but I really am. Check out yourunpodcast.com. That's where you can find all of our shows. You've got this show, you've got True Crime, you've got our YouTube, which we're pumping out loads of new stuff on at the moment. There's loads of YouTube exclusives for you to check out. Also, you'll find all of the other members of the You Run Podcast Network and all of their shows. You'll also find links to all of our social medias. We're more active on some than others. We're at You Run Podcast on all of them. If you want to go and follow Marky Mark, he can be found at VHS from the Crypt on Instagram, where he clings to the most forgotten times of VHS in an attempt to convince himself that it's still the late 90s. Or you can go to Reviews from the Crypt, where he drops his thoughts and opinions on the best and worst horror movies around. Emphasis on worst, because that tends to be where his preferences lie. Yeah. You can share your opinions on the show, which I'm going to get so much shit this week for being like, that's all, folks, all the way through. You could do that by sending us an email, yourunpodcast@gmail.com, or record us a voicemail on Instagram or X. Just go to where you send a DM, hold the microphone button, speak, let it go. It comes to us. It magically appears on the air. You can also record a TikTok and tag us in it, and we'll get that on the air as well. We would really like you to support the show. There's a couple of ways you can do that. You could share an episode with a friend, an enemy, your nan, I don't care who. Share it with someone. You can leave us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. Comment on an episode on YouTube or on Spotify, and visit our merch store at yourunpodcast.com. Soon, I want to talk about it. I'm going to start talking about it a lot now. Soon, you'll be able to subscribe and become a Patreon member, where you'll get early access to ad-free episodes of both horror movie review and true crime. You'll have access to our calendars for both shows. You'll also get to listen as a Patreon member, depending on what tier you take, to brand new shows. A brand new horror show with me and Mark, and a brand new true crime show with me and Heather. While I'm talking on Patreon, I want to make a point of saying it's not going to impact the shows you listen to. Like, these shows are always going to be free. They're always going to be as they are now. And Patreon's not going to take anything away. It's not going to be like, this week's a Patreon episode. Like, that's not what we're doing. It's just a way for anyone who enjoys this show or true crime or both to get more of that they pay for. It's like, if you need more, it's available, but it's not free. But these shows will always be as they are now.
And I think that's one thing we want to make very clear. We made a big standpoint early on in our podcast of being like, we are free, we always will be free. And we are, and we always will be. This show, this weekly show that you get will not change. It will not be impacted. Everything you get week in, week out will remain the same. The only difference with Patreon is we're just doing it, consider it a side venture. And if you want to be there and you want to check out the behind the scenes and you want to check out the extra content and you want to just support me and Scott in any way whatsoever, the option is there for you, but don't feel obliged to do so. Nothing is going to change here. And that's one thing we want to make perfectly clear to everybody going forward. We're not doing this to the point where we've like gained a growth and we're like, right now we're going to capitalize on it. That's not the situation here. We're just doing this as an additional beneficiary for everybody else if they choose to have it or not.
Yeah, exactly. And like some of the behind the scenes stuff, like if you know me and Mark, you'll probably be interested in those. Like when me and Mark meet up and go for a beer, we're going to record some videos. We'll show you us get progressively pissed throughout the night and share that. That's the sort of stuff we'll share on Patreon along with the extra episodes. But once it goes live, we'll let you know, and you can go and have a look. You can see how much it is and all that kind of jazz. But for now, let's do some facts. The castle for this that they used is an Italian castle in a small village in Antangigliano in Italy, and it's owned by the president of Full Moon Pictures.
Yeah,
it's
Puppet
mental.
Master's filmed here as well.
Yeah, it's
in fact,
mental.
Probably 90% of the early Full Moon movies are filmed here because it was free.
Yeah, it's just it's. I find that such a weird thing. Like this guy who owns like this big castle to set up a film company. Like, yeah, just film it all in my basement. And everything he films has tits in it. Like I just get them. I'll talk about it in my roundup, but I have some views on Full Moon. The cast and crew, basically, they all got together before they started filming this, and they brainstormed ideas. And what they'd done is all of the ideas they brainstormed, the scriptwriters then went away with, what this character found terrifying, we're going to make that happen to them. With what that character found terrifying, we'll make that happen to them. And I really like that kind of collaborative filmmaking. You don't get that in big productions, but in this you did, which I thought was cool. The Freak took 6 hours to do each day for shooting. That's rough. I couldn't do 6 hours and then go shoot for 10.
No, and that's one of the things that I always find really amazing about a lot of Marvel movies, and especially with like big Hollywood movies today when they use practical effects. I can't remember the name of the actress. Is it Charlize Theron who played the original Mystique in the X-Men movies? She was in there for like fucking 12 hours and stuff like that a day, like 6 hours in the morning, 3 hours on a night, and then she had to shoot all day and stuff like that in these prosthetics and stuff. And it's bizarre. And it's like even Jim Carrey when he did the Grinch and stuff, like the effort to go into making that a reality before they even start shooting a single scene is incredible. And when people talk about, there's only Robert Englund who could do Freddy Krueger, I know I say this every time. I'm like, guys, look into the actual effort that goes into getting these prosthetics on to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, Robert Englund's in his 70s now. Like, he's not going to do it. He's not going to give up that level of time to be there at 3 o'clock in the morning to do 6 hours of prosthetics, to then start shooting at 9 o'clock in the morning, to then take it off again at 6 o'clock in the evening. It's just too old for that shit, man. It's just not going to happen. And people who tend to do this in movies and go down that prosthetic route, I have nothing but admiration for, because I just wouldn't have the patience. Have the patience to do it.
I'd be so bored. I'd be asleep at bare minimum. But we talked about not having Crumpton cleavage in this nakedness. There's actually a reason. So the original script called for her to drop all of her clothes and be stark naked. But Barbara Crumpton went, I don't want to be like the really bad person here, but this castle's fucking cold and I'm not getting naked in this castle. And there was a negotiation where she agreed to drop her blouse and undo her bra, but they never showed it because she'd done it straight back up again after sort of the look done up. And it was all because the castle had no heating. It's just fucking freezing. She's like, I'm not getting naked. Fuck that.
Oh, so she wasn't like, I don't want to be typecast as that girl.
No,
it was just like, it's cold.
It's cold in here. So this is the third Stuart Gordon film which Barbara Crumpton character reveals her breasts and has them groped by the antagonist. The other films is Reanimator and From Beyond. One thing I found really weird, the poster for this film was designed before they wrote the script.
Really?
So
they cast somebody to play the role of Jennifer Connelly.
They cast it, then they made the poster, then they made the script. So the person who made the poster had no context, only that there's a girl in it at some point is going to be in a bra and she's in a castle. And the title.
Yeah, because the straps, because the poster's iconic where the straps come over the shoulder. So like they filmed that scene to mimic the poster to make it relevant.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I thought, in a way, like that's cool.
It is cool, just a bit bizarre, just a really fucked up way of doing it. It's like doing it backwards. We have no voicemails this week, but we do have a healthy amount of comments, so I'm going to share those instead. YouTube. So we put all of our podcast episodes on YouTube, and people are discovering older episodes and chiming in now, so I want to share some of those. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, which we done 2 Christmases ago.
6 months ago? That's 2 Christmases ago. Is that old?
Yeah, it was 2023, I think that came out. This is from Ghostbusters Collector. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is a really poor sequel. Jason Reitman and Kill Geegan's writing was dire. The film was a complete mess. It had no focus. I don't think I've seen so many unnecessary character ideas and scenes. It was all over the place. Reitman and Keenan simply aren't good enough to be writing for such a beloved, iconic property. If there was another film, I sincerely hope the writing duties are handed to a screenwriter with a genuine talent and not based on the basis of nepotism. I was like, wow.
I genuinely like that movie. And speaking of Ghostbusters, you know what's funny, right? I got this. I picked this up. which is really weird. Literally last night I picked this up. This is a VHS tape that I found in my mother's attic. I don't know if I can showcase that. So that says Rebecca's school play. Rebecca is my older sister. And I found this. I was like, oh, cool, family videos and stuff. So me and my wife, we sat down last night. We put this on. And it was about halfway through to the nativity and it cuts off. Guess what movie the legend that my dad is decided to record over the top of this family videotape?
I hope it's Ghostbusters 2.
It's Ghostbusters 1, but I was like, I can't even be mad at him. I can't even be mad. So I watched Ghostbusters 1 after watching like 20 minutes of my sister play Mary in the nativity from the 90s.
That's hilarious. We got one on the second episode I ever put out. So this is way long before you joined the show. I think this is probably one of the first episodes you listened to as a listener. And it was the review of A Nightmare on Elm Street 2010. This came from randomly Eric. He put, not the best performances from the teens or the most original entry, but I really enjoy this one based off Jackie Earle Haley's performance as Freddy.
Yep.
I agree.
I agree. I actually quite like that movie. I don't think it deserves a hit. And that's the thing. I'm not a Nightmare guy either. So, like, if somebody remade Halloween, I would be extra critical and I would have a lot to say, as I'm sure you all know. It's the same way you are with Nightmares. That's your sort of wheelhouse. Like, you're a Nightmare guy. So you would be ultra critical of it. But for me, like, I think it's a great remake. I don't have many issues with it at all.
No, it's not a bad it's riddled with this. You go and listen way back, scroll all the way down to the bottom. The second episode, about 20 minutes long, where I bitch and moan about the things they've done wrong, and then I gush about all the things they've done right. On Spotify, on our Immaculate episode, Dave went with this. This is in response to you going off at Dave B Movies. That rant was perfect. So funny. And I love the fact that it has its own chapter. So you ranted so much, the Spotify AI, when it creates chapters for the episode, created a chapter, Dave's in trouble.
Brilliant. I didn't realise I'd gone that bad, but did I go in hard?
You went in hard, but it's fine. Dave come back and clap back. It's cool. Also on our Immaculate episode, Beardy Benji. Yep, boobage made me actually laugh out loud, which is good because we've probably done it this week with boobage as well.
Boobage has been said a few times, I think.
Yeah, don't forget, if you want your if you want your comments read on the air, go and comment on an episode on Spotify or YouTube. There we go.
Well done.
Thank you. Caption this. We put this caption. Fuck. We put this picture
God,
out.
man, what is going on?
I don't know. It's awful. So we put this image out and asked you to caption it, and then we read the best ones on the air if I can actually speak for more than 3 sentences. No, yeah, totally, dude. We've went, you got a $5. She's mine for an hour, and I'm short a couple of bucks. Dissect That Film Pod went, this is the event that inspired me to reanimate the dead, which I thought was quite clever. Deep cut. Wednesday Wine and Horror went with, I wish I could be Bruce Campbell.
Oh, I've never thought about that before. That is fantastic.
Yeah. And finally, Chaz Presley, how Scott looks when he gets called out for trolling horror fans. Is that the face I pull?
I don't know. I feel like you welcome it these days.
I do. I enjoy it. Anyway, let's play our game. And if you're watching, you're about to see a big shift in like your visuals. Where you're like that. Oh,
well, that's very zoomed in, isn't it?
It is.
Your mustache. My Powerpuff Girls t-shirt.
Yeah, your beautiful mustache is coming along. Lovely. Yeah. Don't
very blonde. Do you know what it is? Like when I had hair, I'm quite dark. I'm not necessarily dark. I'm sort of like a couple of shades down from you, but I'll go very, very blonde in the sun. And the same has happened to my mustache. It's like it's summer now, so I've got a blonde mustache, but come autumn time, it'll go very dark again and be very, very Nosferatu level mustache.
Oh, very nice. Well, anyone who's not seen this game before, this is where Mark gets 60 seconds and then I get 60 seconds to answer yes/no questions to guess the horror character that we've come up with. I'm going to go
Yep.
first. I've got my horror character in my head. Are you ready?
Well, ready for the next round.
Okay.
Yep, go on.
Here you go.
Are you human?
Yes.
Are you a male?
Yes.
Are you a protagonist or an antagonist?
Antagonist.
Are you a slasher or a... No, but you can't be a creature because you're human. Are you a slasher?
Not really.
Are you living or dead?
I'm living.
Do you have a hook as a weapon?
No.
Do you have a machete as a weapon?
No.
Fuck, I'm going to move away from weapons. Do you kill teenagers?
No.
Fuck, I don't know. Oh, we suck so badly at this game. Are you Pinhead?
So you get one last guess?
Are you Pinhead?
No, I was the freak from Castle Freak, who is technically a human.
That's bullshit, man.
I tried to make it easy. So have you got yours in your head?
I have, yes.
Okay. Are you a boy?
I'm male, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Well, I don't know my age.
Are you a slasher?
I'm not saying I'm human, by the way, just before we start going down this rabbit hole.
Stop wasting my time. Are you a slasher?
No.
Are you a monster?
Yes.
Are you a xenomorph?
No.
Are you a predator?
Yes. No, like not a predator as in the movie Predator. I am a predator.
Oh, are you an animal?
Yes.
Are you Jaws?
I am. I'm Bruce.
Yay! Fuck it, we got one.
I should have picked something harder. No, because
Right.
this game is just going to be me and you not getting it.
Yeah, so I've got one. Let's see if you can get one this round. So, you ready?
Okay. Yeah. Oh shit! I'm supposed to ask questions. Do apologize. I was waiting for you to do something. Are you human?
No.
Are you a animal?
No.
Are you an alien?
Yes.
Are you ET?
No.
Are you a xenomorph?
No.
Are you a predator?
Yes.
Are you the predator?
Yes. Oh, one each. Right. You got another one?
I have, yes.
Okay. Right, let's do it. Are you female?
No.
Are you male?
Yes.
Are you human?
Yes.
Are you alive?
No.
Are you a zombie?
No.
Do you have special powers?
Yes.
Would you be deemed as the undead?
Yes.
Are you in an 80s movie?
No.
Are you in a 90s movie?
Yes.
Are you in multiple 90s movies as the same character?
The actor wasn't, but the character is.
Are you a slasher?
No.
The undead. Are you...
Final guess.
Are you trash?
No. My dad is Bruce Lee.
You're the Crow.
I am the Crow.
Damn it. Right, we'll do one more each. So are you ready? Remember, you need to ask questions when I start the timer.
Right, okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Right, let's go.
Are you alive?
Yes.
Are you male?
No.
Are you female?
Yes.
Are you A good guy or a bad guy?
Good guy.
Are you fighting zombies?
No.
Are you... Did I ask if you were dead?
No, you didn't. And I'm not.
Are you dead? No, you're
No,
not
I'm
dead.
alive.
Are you Laurie Strode?
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got 2. I've got 1. I need to get 1 to even it up. So last one.
Yep.
Right. You got it?
Yep.
Okay. Are you male?
No.
Are you female?
Yes.
Are you alive?
Yes.
Are you the protagonist?
Yes.
Are you a final girl?
Yes.
Are you Sally Hardesty?
No.
Oh, fuck. Are you... You can't be Laurie Strode. I've just done that. Are you Nancy Thompson?
I am.
Yeah.
I figured I would just nick yours and just be like, well, he's a nightmare guy. So
Well, we done.
I should have done Laurie Strode again.
You should have done it. I'd have got it earlier if you had. Well, that's about it. I'm going to round this up first. I honestly don't know what I wanted this movie to be. I don't think I wanted it to be a softcore bondage movie, which is kind of what I got. Beyond the door to the acting, I didn't think was that great, which is disappointing considering it's Barbara Crampton and Jeffrey Combs, and I know they're both capable of giving reasonably good performances. In this, I didn't think they were great. The freak is just a rapey pervert, and I don't know. They don't give him enough depth for me. I find all the scenes when the freak is on scene very uncomfortable to watch, and not in like a horror movie kind of, oh God, this is really uncomfortable, in more of a, oh God, that poor actress uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It just feels really pervy. Full
I had
Moon
that same
has,
issue with the Hills of Eyes remake. Gives that kind of vibe to it.
It really does. And like Full Moon have kind of got their lane, and it's very much like Trauma. But Trauma seemed to have nailed this comedic tone with crazy gore and really difficult topics. And Full Moon just, I don't know, they just feel like the Harvey Weinstein version of that studio. Like, yes, there's crazy gore, there's horror elements, but it all just feels a bit seedy and grubby. Also, the fact the Full Moon president owns a castle just kind of reinforces my opinions. He owned a castle. He gets all these half-naked women there. Like, this just screams, I'm not accusing him. This isn't slander, but it gives me the vibe of this is very much a casting couch, that Weinstein-style vibe production company. And in my head, 100% he's having freaky-ass Diddy baby oil style parties in his castle dungeon. And I don't get it. Like, this film is not great. It's got some good elements, but overall I didn't enjoy it. It's just a bit perverted for me. And that's weird because I love boobs. I love sex. Like, all that stuff's great. But in this, it just makes me feel like, just really grimy. And I didn't hate it, but I'll probably never rewatch it. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. And I'm not sure if that's the right score, but it's kind of where I feel that I am.
I don't think that's the right score at all, I'll be honest with you. And I'm going to start my roundup by saying I'm not going to throw out allegations towards people I don't know. I'm not incriminating anybody.
It was not an allegation. It was
where you clearly bolded it. You compared him to Harvey Weinstein.
No, I said
that was a statement you made.
That's the vibe I get. We do not want to get sued for slander and lose the show. I get that vibe from his production company in his Diddy-style baby oil stared castle.
You pretty much just set up a court case in your roundup. That's all I'm saying. For me, I really like this movie. I don't think it has distasteful elements to it, but I don't think it's a distasteful movie overall. It certainly subverted expectations considering it's a Full Moon production. I was surprised by the level of depth that the story had throughout. I was really blown away by the creativity used with the practical effects and the gore scenes, especially throughout this movie. That was something that I was really not expecting to see in a movie like this. I think you're right in terms of the overall acting. I think we've seen better performances from Crampton, and we've definitely seen better performances from
Jeffrey Combs.
Reanimator dude. Reanimator being the perfect example of both actors doing better performances within this genre. But I don't dislike this movie, and every time I've watched it, I've only seen it twice, but both times I've been pleasantly surprised by the level of effort that's gone into creating a cohesive narrative throughout the film, which is something that I'm not used to from all the Full Moon movies that I've seen so far. This one stands out amongst the group from being so normalized, if you will, in terms of generalized horror. Like, for me, if this didn't have the Full Moon banner on it and it was just one of those really retro 80s 90s movies that people like, oh, I remember growing up watching Castle Freak, and it was one of those tapes that I found in my dad's house, and me and my mates put it on one Friday night, and it was fucking amazing. Like, I'd get it, and I'd understand that connection to it. Me, I discovered it a couple of years ago for the first time ever when it first came onto Shudder. It was Shudder. Shout out to Shudder, welcoming sponsors if you're ready. I found it on Shudder, and that for me, when I first watched it, I was like, wow, this is actually a really, really cool movie. Like, I'm enjoying my time here with this. There's certainly very smutty elements to it, and things that do walk the line of should it be done, should it not be done throughout, but it never really crossed that path for me. There was always that back and forth within my mind of, is this a me thing or is this a movie thing? And I don't think I can really, I think it's a me thing, if I'm honest with you. I know I've been back and forth with it throughout the entirety of this episode, but I do think it's a me thing. Just because it made me uncomfortable doesn't mean to say that it shouldn't be there within the movie. I've watched some fucking terrible shit. Some absolutely terrible shit in my journey throughout horror. Fernando Formosos alone is one of those movies where I'm like, fuck, this is just direly like depressing, horrible,
Dead
fucking
Girl.
gnarly, gross, disgusting shit.
Yeah, we done Dead Girl on the show. That was one
We've
that
done
was like
Dead Girl. We've done things like that, and I feel like there's an audience for everything. And I don't feel like this is one of those movies where I can outright say this crossed the line, because I don't think it did. I've seen some gnarly shit, and I don't think this was one of those movies. I think this is very subtle in that element. I think there's things that make you feel very uncomfortable throughout, but I don't think that's anything regarding the movie. I think that comes down to personal preference. I felt like everything that was done throughout was relevant and purposeful towards projecting the plot forward. My only real issue is that I feel like, considering that there was Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton there, both of the two of them could have injected better performances to give more believability towards their characters. I feel like they were very much just cashing a check here. And I don't know whether this movie came out before or after the success of either of their careers. But I feel like both of them could have done better. And had they done better, this probably would have been a much more higher regarded movie within the community. I know it has its fans, and I know people really, really like this film, but had the pair of them come together and be like, let's just make this the best it can be, I feel like a lot more people would be talking about this film as being one of those greats, you know, because it does have those elements to it where it, like, yeah, this is a great movie. And I think, the Full Moon banner aside, it's really, really not that bad. It doesn't deserve high scores because it does still have its problems throughout. But I think, for me, I enjoyed watching it the first time. I really enjoyed watching it the second time. I'm just always left, by the time the credits roll, like, what the fuck is this movie? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just what the hell is this movie? It's wild. So for me, it's going to get a 3.5 out of 5. I don't think I would necessarily be like, oh, do you know what? I'm just going to kick back and I'm going to watch Castle Freak. But if I had to watch it again, like I did for the purposes of this episode, I didn't begrudge it. I messaged you when we found out we won Castle Freak on the show, and I was like, man, I watched Castle Freak last year. It's wild. But I was looking forward to watching it again.
Yeah.
Do you know, I was like, I'm going to watch it. That's going to be cool. But I wouldn't go out of my way and be like, I'm chilling on a Friday night. Let's watch Castle Freak.
No, see, I think for me, if this come on, this would be one that I'd change the channel. I'd be like,
no. If I was channel surfing late one night and I come across it, I'd be like, I'm going to chill out and watch this for a bit.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't with this. But that's us for this week. Next week, strap in.
Now that's pretty kinky.
Because we are covering the 2022 remake of Hellraiser. And if you think
are we?
Yeah.
That means I lost that poll. I thought Candyman 3 was a clean sweep.
Candyman 3 was 98%, and when it finished, it was 62 to Hellraiser.
Fuck.
Hellraiser had a last-minute surge. So, yeah, Hellraiser next week. And I'm excited for that. I've been wanting to talk about that since it came out.
Yeah, well, I watched it when it first came out. That movie is excessively long for what it is. But I remember enjoying it. I just remember it being a slog. So I'm excited to go, because I haven't watched it since it came out for that reason. So I'm excited to go in and give it the time it deserves, because I know there was a lot of stuff in there that I really, really liked. Hopefully, this rewatch will amplify that. And do we know it? We'll save it for next week, but I think there's a sequel coming for that, which I'm excited about if it does, because I feel like it does deserve that continuation of this story.
Yeah, we'll save that for next week. So next week, this week, watch Hellraiser. It's available on Hulu and Disney Plus. Watch that. And then next week, tune in for us to talk all about Hellraiser and Pinhead and being kinky and pleasure and pain and all those good things. So until then, I'll see you all next week.
Cheers, guys. See you next week.
You want to die tonight?
Jokes you tell sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Marc's overblown roundups. You run podcasts or a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. You run podcasts, horror movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. Thank you for taking us on this chilling ride, when nightmares roll free and comedy collide. With your podcast we laugh and cringe, but your content is so good we can't help but binge. You run podcasts.
Are you fucking blind? You can't see me!